Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. My name is Evan McCauley, president of the club, and we are thrilled to have you joining us today. This meeting broadcast is available on HCTV as well as our Rotary of Hudson YouTube channel. Our club meets weekly at Laurel Lake for breakfast on Wednesday mornings from 7:15 to 8:30 a.m. Come out and join us for a meeting. We'd love to have you as a guest. To learn more about Rotary, our club, and the impact that we are having on the local community and world, please visit rotaryhudson.org. Enjoy the meeting today and be the inspiration.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests.
Good morning, Ron.
For those of you that missed me, I'm Ron Strobel, the Sergeant at Arms. And if you didn't miss me, I don't care. The invocation this morning is by Father Joe Boisel.
Sleeping most of the time. First, this from the Hebrew Psalter from Psalm 34. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall ever be in my mouth. I will glory in the Lord. Let the humble hear and rejoice. Proclaim with me the greatness of the Lord. Let us exalt his name together. And then pray with me this prayer. O God, you have made us in your own image and redeemed us through your Son. Look with compassion on the whole human family and take away the arrogance and hatred which infects our hearts, breaks down the walls that separate us. Unite us in bonds of love and work through our struggle and confusion to accomplish your purposes on earth, that in your good time all nations and races may serve you in harmony around your heavenly throne. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Father. To lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, and she's also been gone, so I'll introduce her, Catherine Sines.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is the truth. Second,
is fair to all concerned.
Third,
will build goodwill and better friendships.
And fourth,
will be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. And now to lead us in song, Chris Barker.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And now our president, Evan McCauley.
Good morning, fellow Rotarians. Good morning. We're going to kick things off with our guest introductions this morning.
Thank you.
Good morning again. I tell you, I'll try to start the song a little lower next time. Okay. Well, we have a couple guests with us. First, we have an adorable little one over here, Maria. She's joining us today, so that's Marilyn Orr's granddaughter. Thanks for joining us. And then there's a gentleman back there who snuck by me the past couple weeks. If you would please stand. I believe your name is Scott Naples.
That's correct.
Okay, Bill Benoit's guest, so thank you for joining us. I believe this is meeting number 3, so, you know, kind of like seals the deal. So I'm thinking maybe a new member here. Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, guests, for joining us. All right, we got a lot going on, and we're going to get into it. Just a quick highlight here. I met a Rotarian recently and asked him about his meetings, and he said, well, we only have 4 speakers throughout the year, roughly. I said, well, what do you do during the meetings? And he said, well, we get stuff done. We work on projects. And he said, what do you do during meetings? And I said, well, we have awesome speakers that come share awesome things with us, and we get club projects done. So with that, we're going to get into our club projects, and kicking it off is Tom Page with an update on the fall fundraiser.
Well, I wasn't sure if you were listening to me last week, but yes, I've gotten some returns already. Form filled out, a check made out to me. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Anyhow, some of you, most of you were handed a packet, which you also got by email, but sometimes people like to have something in their hand. And thanks, James. That one tells it all. Any roses that you buy, any caramel corn that you buy, I will deliver here on Wednesday, the 21st, right? Or 19th. Excuse me, 19th. Now, if you buy a lot, I'll deliver the stuff right to your place of work, or to school, or to your office. Yeah, for sure the caramel corn, because I can get that done early. Are there any questions about, because some of the people here are new. Okay. Now, pardon?
What's a lot?
What do you mean?
For delivery. For delivery. Right.
If you want them delivered, Tommy, I'll deliver them to your place. Because I know you're going to buy a lot. Oh, don't tell everybody. Yes. Yeah.
This is my first Rotary Fall fundraiser, so I wouldn't mind if you go do it.
Pardon me?
So this is my first Rotary Fall fundraiser, so I wouldn't mind if you go do the logistics.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's expected of everyone?
I was getting to that. This is a fundraiser for the local schools here for scholarships. Goes into our foundation, but we sell anyway. What I'm looking for is a net of $100. So if for some reason you just can't see yourself selling roses or caramel corn, you're missing out. But if you can't, you can write me a check for $100 or more, and that'll be just fine. That'll be just fine. But I was just talking to Taylor, or we were talking to her group, the Service Learning Group. They hit a home run. So anybody wants to match Lonnie Banner and company, have at it. That's great. Yes.
I have a question. Can you mail the roses?
No. No. They come in from South America, and they get in and they put the baby's breath on it and the packets and all that, and then they get delivered here. We try to keep them as fresh as possible because we've had problems in the past, right, George? Yeah, we've had problems in the past. So, no, we don't mail them direct because we get them at a reduced cost. And by the way, the roses is we get $10 back on those, and then on the caramel corn. That's $7 back. So I've given you this packet. I'm not going to go through this and insult your intelligence, but there's another sign-up form. You got it by email also. The teams, I'm not going to go over that. You know who you are, and if you don't, please, captains, get a hold of your people. And any other questions? Yes, Phil.
If we don't sell the roses, is there a way where I can do in the past contribute the money directly?
Yes. Yeah.
How much is that?
$100.
Minimum of 100, yeah. But you can do what you did last year, and I won't repeat that, but it was very, very, very nice. What Phil and Tom did, yeah. So.
Who do you write the check?
Hudson Rotary Foundation, or if you're benevolent, Tom Page. No, just Hudson Rotary Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Moving into our next project, Gail Royster sent out an email earlier this week and did an awesome job coordinating an opportunity for us to go engage with service learning. Gail?
Good morning, Rotarians. We always have so much fun with our service learning class. And part of the curriculum for service learning is a government class. And along those lines, Marty Bach, who's one of the service learning teachers, sent me an email which I forwarded to all of you, and then Evan very kindly also put it in his weekly reminder. So Marty wants you to please contact him directly, not through me to schedule, but there's some fascinating topics there. So you have the opportunity to choose your topic and your time, and be able to witness the presentation by a couple of students from the service learning class, and then offer your comments so you can interact with them as well. So some of you I know have already signed up. Please do, because it's a great experience to hear from there's high school seniors, so to hear from their perspective, their views on various governmental topics. So please, it's Marty. We'll send probably one more reminder out on it in case you missed it, but in fact, I'll probably do that later today. But then we have other projects coming up too, so I don't want to confuse you by offering two at the same time. And I just wanted to add, as Tom had said, on the Roses, service learning class just knocks it out of the park. They are there to help us. It's a very mutual relationship. So last year, I think they sold over 100, something like that. Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Evan.
Yep. Thank you, Gail. And next is an update from our gala committee in specific regards to sponsorship.
Thank you, Evan. The Gala Committee has been meeting already. We've had a couple meetings. 2 weeks ago, the sponsor letters went out to a lot of local companies, some who've have been sponsors in the past, and others that are potential sponsors. And each of those companies has a Rotarian's name next to it. Now, I think you may not have gotten that, may not be aware of it, but Jim Lang, Dan Filburn, and Richard Nebbiolo are on the sponsor committee. When Jim gets back this week, he's going to be sending out an email to all of the Rotarians telling you which sponsors they'd like to have you contact. And when we're looking for money, $1,500 to $5,000, a letter or a telephone call really is not the appropriate way to try and get that kind of money. So we're asking that you contact these people in person and see if you can talk them into, if they've been giving 15, moving up to 3,000, and moving all the way up to 5,000, we'd like to get a premier sponsor for our gala this year. So you will be getting something in the email from Jim Lang, and when you get that, please get out and see these people. We'd like to do it before the end of the year so that we get into their budgeting for next year. So thank you all for your help.
Thank you, Ron. See, we're doing projects, and we can get through those updates really quick, and we're going to move in. We have a special guest with us this morning from Drug Safe Hudson. Drug Safe Hudson has been awarded grants from our Hudson Rotary Foundation, so we support their organization, and Dan Williams is going to introduce our special guest.
Thanks, Evan. I'll keep this short because I know we have a big program today. I'm on the steering committee for Drug Safe Hudson. We had a quarterly meeting last night, and I can't tell you how impressed I am by the activity and the buy-in that we've had from the community here in Hudson to try to keep everybody safe from drugs. And we've hired a person to direct this, and Rotary has funded the program, and hopefully will fund it in the future. So let me introduce Jamie Messenger, who is the director of our Drug Safe Hudson program here in town. Jamie?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, thank you so much for the warm welcome today. On behalf of Drug Safe Hudson Coalition, I do want to express my sincere gratitude and thanks for approving our grant request for the monies. So thank you so much, Rotarians. The money is going to be used for promotional items. Drug Safe Hudson Coalition was formed last year, and then they came together and realized that they needed a liaison, a person to really kind of spearhead this, to manage this, and to be able to provide those direct resource services to the Hudson community. And so my position was formed, and I started on January 3rd of this year. So to give you just a quick background information on myself, I have been involved with local nonprofits for close to 20 years, doing a lot of work in the Akron area with chemically addicted and mental health populations. For the last 10 years, I have served Oriana House, so it's a local organization. Some of you have may heard of it. And I currently work with the specialized court, the Hope Court, for felony mental health offenders, as well as supervise the facility, and 90% of our folks right now are affected by drugs and alcohol. So I'm really on the front lines of what our communities are dealing with. And so what we're doing with Drug Safe Hudson right now is really focused on our motto. And our motto is to get help, get engaged, and get educated. And frequently what I'm hearing is, especially in the community of Hudson, is that it doesn't happen here. Well, that is not accurate. So most of those individuals have not had that direct lived experience with someone being affected. So as of right now, I have taken 37 phone calls from the Hudson community. I'm working on doing some follow-up to make sure that the resources we're providing are valid, that they're working, because there are many different ways for individuals to get help. All of my phone calls are coming from families, so you can really see that it is happening in Hudson. So whether you're not being affected directly, maybe your nephew is, maybe your next door neighbor is. And so it's just important for us to get the message out that our coalition exists and that I'm available to provide those resources. So our phone number is 330-822-HELP. We were very excited to get that catchy phone number. So that call line, I run it 24 hours a day. I always tell my families, crisis doesn't happen 8 to 4. If I don't get to the phone right away, I make sure that I get back to someone within the next business day. And it's crucial for the Hudson community to know that we have this resource. Has anyone ever tried to find resources for drugs or alcohol before? Have you? Did you try to Google it?
I did, it was really, really hard. And so I actually spoke at the forum for, when they started the Heroin Awareness Program.
Mm-hmm.
And my point was the fact that I had no idea who to contact. And when you did contact doctors, they said it's going to take 30 to 90 days before you can even get in. So, yeah, I had nowhere to go.
And that exact example is why my position was formed, because I can help families navigate the process. I'm very well connected to places in the community. I've rarely even had to look up the information because I am that well connected, so I've been able to even explain processes, explain what inpatient treatment means, what does outpatient treatment mean, what does an assessment mean. Thank you for sharing that. That's a very, very good example. So what I've done is really focus on getting into events such as this. So thank you again for the warm welcome. We just really want individuals to know that our helpline is available and that we do have resources for the Hudson community. So I do have business cards. I will leave them up here on the table, as well as we have developed this RAT card, so it provides some statistical information. Now, there are some discrepancies with our numbers, and this is why. All of the overdose rates, the individuals that are affected directly are all categorized by zip code. And so I recently found out that the Hudson zip code also shares Boston Heights. So all of our statistical numbers on here are by zip code of the 44236. So in 2016, there were 33 overdoses, and in 2017, there were 25. So this RAT card gives detailed information on that, as well as we developed a information sheet for athletes, but it has some important numbers on here. So we've tried to get this out to the parent meetings. I've been connected with the athletic director, so we can share this at the high school as well. And one of the alarming statistics on here is 75% of high school heroin users started with prescription opioids. So it's very common when you go to the doctor, you're in pain, for the doctor to want to treat your pain. right? But the problem is if you're already predispositioned and have that gene inside your body that's going to be, cross over into that addiction mode, you can't really pre-evaluate that. So it's just important that we're providing this info sheet to talk about alternative therapies. And so the sheet does that, talks about going to chiropractic, maybe even doing acupuncture, but it also teaches people to kind of question their doctor, talk to their doctor. What are these risks? We also have the deTerra Bag Project. Now, currently we have an unlimited supply of these. Has anyone heard of the deTerra Project? Okay, so this bag here is, again, free to the Hudson community. So if you would like one, I can leave some on the table for you. And what it does is it encourages individuals to clean out their medicine cabinets. So think about your own home right now. Do you have prescription medications that have maybe sat there for a couple of years? Could they possibly get into the hands of a person in the school system right now, a young person? I actually did an event at the Fun and First at Maine event, at a preschool event, and I had a mom walk by and I asked her real quick, because there's a lot going on, the little kids are having fun, and I said, hey, when was the last time you cleaned out your medicine cabinet? And she stopped for a second and she said, oh my gosh, my son is 6, and she pointed to him, he was standing right next to her, and she said, I had a C-section and still have Vicodin in my medicine cabinet. And I said, that is exactly what this is designed to do, is to encourage you to clean out your cabinet. These are very easy to use. The instructions are on the back. It's a 3-step process, and you just pour in the set amount of pills, put in a certain amount of water. There's a charcoal substance in here that deactivates it, and then you're able to throw it in the landfill. These bags are actually omnidegradable, and what that means is that this will degrade faster than a banana peel in the landfill itself because of the microorganisms in there. So it's just a very good way to start educating individuals and having safe medication disposal practices. So again, I have these available if anyone would like one. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you. We do have a Drug Safe Hudson website. Thank you so much. I didn't even see you put it up. So I encourage you to check out our website. I do have resources under the Get Help tab there. I do post everything on Facebook or Twitter if you're active on social media. So if you could just stop by and like our page, you'll see what we're doing. My main goal right now is to just continue to get out and let Hudson know that we exist. We are providing free information to the community, and that is our main role right now. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Jamie. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And I like spicing it up a little bit. So, Marilyn, could you come up here? Marilyn's going to be introducing our guest speaker this morning. But before that, we have a little bit of a presentation for Marilyn. Marilyn came to our club. She has a long Rotary history. She's actively involved in the Gala Committee. I think a Gala Committee chair now. She's probably the very reason that we have a Rotary Youth Exchange student here this year. And you've still got your red badge. So our membership squad is behind you, and they've got a nice gold badge for you. So we're going to get that on before you kick off our presentation. Let's give Marilyn a round of applause.
Yes. Let me get that red badge off there, dear. All right, let's get rid of this thing. There we go.
Thank you for everything that you do. We look forward to your active involvement. And Marilyn will kick off our guest speaker this morning. Thank you.
Well, November is Rotary Month. Last January, I was at a women's retreat at St. Mary, and I met the most fascinating lady from Nigeria. And during a lunch, we discovered that we had a heck of a lot in common involving healthcare, but also Rotary. In 1996, Rotary came to Nigeria, and in the first year, there were 3 clubs founded, and there are now 89. But Nigeria has been one of the countries that has been very active with polio until very recently. So Polio Plus was always one of my favorite projects of Rotary, because I had a roommate in college who had suffered polio and used crutches and now an automated scooter. And I just was amazed at her bravery, and also at just how impacted her life was because of this awful disease. And then I learned that my good friend Genevieve had been involved in one of the vaccination projects. And so I thought, oh, we've got to share this story. So this morning, the day before she's defending her doctoral dissertation, we have Dr. Genevieve Agulu with us to share her story. Welcome her, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Genevieve. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Marilyn, for this opportunity. This is the second time that I will be standing in front of a Rotary Club. The first time was after our leadership forum back in school, sponsored by our parent Rotary Club. They invited me back to tell them how it went. So I went there and I spoke. So this is the second time. Thank you. So my presentation will start with me talking a little bit about myself, and then my experience with the Rotary Club back in school in Nigeria. Then I'll talk a little bit about Nigeria, and then the Nigerian community in the United States. So my birth country is Nigeria. I was born there some decades ago. I have been an Ohio resident since 2004. Marriage brought me to the United States. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I have 2 sons. I'm also Christian. I went to medical school in Nigeria. I graduated 2004 and I came straight to Ohio. I did residency in pediatrics here in the United States for a couple of years, and then I started having kids and both of them didn't go so well. So I decided to go back to school. I went to University of Akron, got my master's in public health, decided to continue with public health, and I'll be graduating this December with my PhD in epidemiology. I recently started a home health care business. So I'm working on that and hopefully intend to continue teaching and doing research. My husband just walked in, Charles. So I joined the Rotary Club my second year of medical school because we are encouraged to join a club. I chose the Rotary Club. First of all, I heard the word philanthropy. And then I went to the meeting and I heard the 4-way test and I was sold because that's what I believe in. So that's me in 1997, my first year in medical school. I was only 18 years old in that picture. We have the British system of medical school, the same way they have it at New Med. You go straight into medical school from high school. So I was only 18 years old in that picture. So that was the induction ceremony when I became the vice president of my Rotary Club. Before that, I was a club service director and a vocational service director. That is my provost, and that is my little red badge right there. So we had a lot of events. In fact, Rotary Club made medical school a lot of fun for me. We were always busy organizing social events, health events, and even organizing social events for the medical school. So this is one of them, and that's me, the second person there, sitting in my medical school uniform. And this picture was taken at one of the sports events. So I believe there was a sports event that happened in the country the year we had this, and we just got the idea to organize a 1-week sports event for the school. It was put up by the Rotary Club, and that was the opening ceremony with there it is, my provost, and that's me right there, and some of our lecturers and some students as well. So that was the opening ceremony, and we're going to cut the ribbon. That's when the picture was taken. Sorry about that. We also had a mascot. We went all the way. We had a mascot. So, so that is our mascot. We had the eagle, which is the part of the coat of arms for the country. We had the sports, which is the major sports played in Nigeria. We love soccer. We call it football. So when Nigerians come to the United States for the first time, we're kind of confused, like football. Soccer. So yeah, soccer is the main sport in Nigeria. Mascot was named Higo, which stands for Height of Ingenuity and Good Organization, and that's Medizik. My medical school is Nnamdi Azikiwe University, named after the first president of the country, but the medical school is called Medizik. I don't know what's up with that face. So this picture was taken during one of our leadership forums. So the way it works, we have, it's a weekend-long event where all the Rotaract members in the district will come together. We have our conferences, and after that, we visit the local businesses in the area. So the city where I went to medical school is called Nnewi, and it's called the Japan of Nigeria because it has a lot of factories and industries in that area. This particular industry we're at does all things metal. They produce things from metal openers, spoons, forks, pots, and pans, down to the rim of wheel of a car, the rims. So I think this is one of the machines that, oh dear. I don't know why I made that face, but yeah. We also have cultural events. Once in a while, we organize cultural events. We have dance. So we kind of kept the school pretty entertained, everything balanced, all work and no play, you know, what they say. So this is one of our events, and that's me right there. This is also one of our cultural events. We're having a traditional dance. It's a sort of choreographed dancing, and that's me right there. We also had a lot of health activities. We had the community HIV awareness. Nigeria is currently the 3rd in the world when it comes to HIV prevalence. And unfortunately, a lot of people still do not believe there is anything called HIV. They think it's one of those stories that are cooked up by the Western world to stop them from having kids. So we go into the markets, we go into the shops, the business areas to tell them that this disease is real and what to do to prevent it. We also had STD awareness programs. It's also one of the major health problems that we have back home. So in medical school, we had to go to the secondary schools in the area and tell them about these diseases and how to prevent them. Then the most interesting one was the community polio vaccination program. In fact, this one we had some members from a Rotary club in the United States visit in that period. So we all went. We recruited some medical students that were members of the Rotary club. We all went and helped them volunteer to administer the oral polio vaccine to the kids in the villages. Excuse me. This picture was taken in our provost office on one occasion when the Rotary Club from the United States visited. I don't know why they didn't appear in the picture, but these are members of our parents' Rotary Club, and that's me standing right there. So we were in the provost office, and he was talking to us. So that is the president of our parents' Rotary Club. And I graduated 2004. That was me on graduation day. I was really happy. So my country, my birth country, Nigeria, is in West Africa. It's bordered by Cameroon, Niger, Chad, and Togo. And that's our flag, green, white, green. Green stands for the agriculture and White stands for peace, which we haven't had in a while. The land area is about 900 kilometers squared, which is about twice, a little bit over twice the size of California. Population is approaching about 200 million. It is the most populous country in Africa and the 17th in the world. We currently have a federal presidential republic government type, and our currency is Naira. $1 is equivalent to 360 Naira. So that's... We got our independence on October 1st, 1960 from Britain. It's the 7th largest democracy in the world. It's supposed to be democracy. Our national capital is in Abuja. It used to be Lagos, but it became Abuja, I believe, in the 70s. Currently, we have 36 states. So I'll go back a little bit. I am from the southeast, which is somewhere around here. I was born in that area. So it's the tropics. We only have 2 seasons, dry season and wet season, and the rainy season. During the rainy season, it rains, and you can have like flooding. And during dry season, it's really dry. We should be going into the dry season right now. It's called the Harmattan season. It's very dusty. Climate ranges from the dry desert climate up in the north, and then towards the south, east, you have the tropical savanna. The culture is very diverse. There are about 500 different languages spoken in Nigeria. Each of them have different dialects. So the major language, there are 3 major languages: Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. I speak Igbo, but the official language is English. So everybody learns how to speak the English language because that's how we're all able to understand each other. Like I mentioned earlier, the most popular sport is soccer. We have won the African Cup of Nations 3 times, and we have been in the World Cup several times, but we keep trying to get to win it. There are 2 major religions. You have the Muslims make up 50%, and the Christians make up 40%. Like I mentioned earlier, the culture is very diverse. We love our fashion. Each of the tribes have a specific way that they dress, and we try to keep that when we come to the United States, but it's like not something you can wear to work, so we usually wear it to weddings and parties and things like that. I have some pictures to share as well. So the literacy level in Nigeria is 39 to 51%. We love education a lot in Nigeria. We are brought up to believe a lot in getting our education, especially people that come from the southeast part of Nigeria. And that is why most of us leave the country in search of where to get a better education. Because unfortunately, after the military regime back home, the education system kind of started going down the drain. So you have people leaving the country to get better education. We have abundant natural resources, but our major resources come from the petroleum. We are a big oil producing country. Other natural resources are the gas, tin, columbite. We are also big on agriculture. 70% of Nigerians are in the agricultural sector. And like I said, most of our economics come from oil and agriculture. But the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria mentioned a couple of weeks ago that the greatest resources we have in Nigeria are the youth. We're very hardworking, and with the condition of the country, they keep trying to make things for themselves out of nothing. Very hardworking and very illustrious. Another source of our economics is the growing Nollywood industry. We have a huge movie industry called Nollywood, named after Hollywood. They are growing, and actually most of them are beginning to work with American Hollywood as well. Major industries are the crude oil, coal, tin, columbite, palm oil. Palm oil is a huge deal back home. Excuse me. We have quite some challenges back home. The major one right now is the Boko Haram, which is a group of Muslim extremists that believe that Western education is a taboo, and they want to destroy everything that has to do with Western education. They have caused a lot of harm, a lot of damage, and with suicide bombing, kidnapping children and turning them into suicide bombers, kidnapping girls and stuff like that. There's a new one also, the Fulani herdsmen, who the current president is from Fulani, one of the tribes, one of the tribes. And for some reason, his tribesmen think they own the country now and they want to take over everybody's land for their cows. There is also child labor, a major problem. There is no child labor law in Nigeria, so you can have a 7-year-old kid working and taking care of a family. There is no law about school, so children don't have to go to school, and parents will not be held accountable for that. There is also problems of child trafficking for commercial and sexual exploitation. Poor health care, not because we don't have good doctors. We have a lot of intelligent, smart doctors. Unfortunately, because of the corruption in the country, they do not have the right resources to work with. And because of that, life expectancy is 52 years. They have problems of clean water, and I can go on and on and on. But we do have beautiful places in my country. So if you can play the video, it's about 5 minutes long. It will show you it's not all about poverty. We have very beautiful places, and we're big on tourism. So anytime you want to visit, I encourage you to do so. I know it may not sound so safe, but if you do it the right way, I guarantee you will have a lot of fun if you do visit.
It's like looking into a mirror.
That's a Nigerian Rotary meeting.
I just wanted to share a little bit about tourism in Nigeria. So, yeah, I can send the link in.
Can I ask you a question, please?
Yes.
while this is going on?
Yes.
What has been Nigeria's experience in reducing polio?
So as of just before 2016, we thought we had eradicated polio. But then there was another case that emerged. In the southeast, there has been quite a lot of success because people do get their children vaccinated. But unfortunately, in the northern part of the country, they have poor health care there, and they do not trust anything Western education, Western health. So it's really difficult to get the polio vaccination in that area. So when we thought we had almost eradicated polio from Nigeria, in 2016, there was another emerging case. And so we can't say it's been eradicated.
What can be done to reduce the resistance to the concept that it's a Western drug?
I believe education, health education, one, and then the problem with the northern part of country is the wealth disparity over there. So there is the very rich people who are in charge, like the leaders in the country. You have to get through them. If you can't get through them, you cannot get to the people. So the first thing would be to get the leaders to trust the people coming in, and they will be the one to give them access to the people. Unlike in the southeast part of the country where majority are educated, it's easy to get in there and talk to them and educate them and have them accept what they know is right.
Well, I think they saw the videos.
Yeah, so yeah. It's Nigeria tourism. You can go on YouTube. So I just wanted to share the beautiful part of my country. It's not just about like the dirt places. Like we have nice tourism, a lot of resort centers to visit if you ever decide to go to that part of the world. So Nigerians in the United States of America, currently, according to the American Community Survey, there are almost 300,000 American Nigerians in the United States. And they are mostly in the Texas, Maryland, New York, California, Georgia, New Jersey area. Almost 400,000 residents, American residents, report Nigerian ancestry. And I am proud to inform you that Nigerians are the most educated immigrant group in the United States, actually surpassing the East Asians. 4% of Nigerians in the United States have a PhD versus 1% of the general US population. 17% of Nigerians in the United States have a master's degree and 37% a bachelor's degree. 62% of Nigerian Americans aged 25 years and above hold a bachelor's degree or higher. 29% hold a graduate or professional degrees. There are many Nigerians in this area. I think in Streetsboro it's just my family. In Hudson, there is one family. And in Kent, there are two families there. And my husband and I were highly educated. He has 2 master's degrees. I have my master's and soon PhD and my MBBS. The 2 families in Kent, they are both professors at Kent State University. So I mean, that gives you proof of what I just talked about. We value education a lot, and it is my hope that the education system in Nigeria will improve. Growing up back home, I loved to read a lot, and we had one local library that my parents only allowed us to go to during long holidays. So this local library, children are only allowed to borrow 2 books at a time. So my friends and I devised a method. We would gather all the children in the neighborhood to make sure we had enough people, and we would walk down to the library and everybody would borrow 2 books each. So we had enough to read till the next weekend. So most of the books I read were set in the United States, and that's how I learned about this country that I've come to love so much. I wanted to visit, and luckily marriage brought me here. So my experience coming to the United States, when I started studying for my medical license exam, I told Marilyn the story. My husband took me to the Hudson Library when it was just the bungalow. I walked in, I had never seen so many books in my life. I thought I had read all the children's books, and I'm seeing all these books that I haven't read. I was like a kid in a candy world. And I said, oh my goodness, all these books. And I turned and asked my husband, can I borrow books? He looked at me, he said, go ask the lady at the front desk. I rushed and said, can I borrow books? She said, I don't see why not. How do I get them? Do you have a library card? No. How do I get a library card? Do you have an ID? Yes. Do you have an envelope that shows your address? Yes, let me see that. She took them. She gave me a piece of paper to fill out the information, and then she gave me the card and said, that's it. I said, that's it? I don't have to pay anything? She was like, do you pay anywhere to borrow books? I was like, I'm sorry. And then I asked her, how many books can I borrow? She said, as much as 50. I'm like, what? I couldn't, and I was supposed to be preparing for my medical license exam. And there were all these books. I didn't know whether to start from the children's books, even though I was 20-something years old, or to start from there. And so that was it for me. And it was a mixed feeling for me because I didn't know whether to cry because I thought I read all these books, and there's still all these books that I haven't read. And even though I had this library growing up, currently in my country, I don't think that in my state where I grew up, I don't think there's a library there. And I told Marilyn my dream of at some point building one library at a time, no matter how small it is, just so that these kids can have a little bit of the experience that I had growing up. It was already going down when I was in elementary school, and it's even worse now. Of course, it doesn't mean there are no libraries in Nigeria. It's just that in some of the cities, the not so big cities, the children do not have that opportunity. And by the time I got to secondary school, the library was already gone. But there was this man, I guess he came back from the United States and found the condition of the country like that. So he opened a book club. So what people had to do was, if you had books at home, you can come and exchange them. And that kind of held us for a while. Unfortunately, the current government, I don't know why they don't think it's important to have a library for the children. So I'm hoping that somebody's going to do something about that soon. So we have 2 Nigerian communities here in Northeast Ohio. There's one in Akron and there's one in Cleveland. The one in Akron is called Nigerians in Metro Akron and Surroundings. The membership is about 100 families, and they meet quarterly. They have annual events, and especially our major annual event is the Independence Day celebration. Our Independence Day is October 1st, but they have their celebration on the 3rd Saturday of October. They have a lot of family events, Christmas parties, and they also offer scholarships to high school and college students. There's the girls. We have very big in culture. All these kids were American citizens. They were born here, but we do teach them our culture. These are the women, and that's me right there. And the Nigerian community in Cleveland is called Nigerian Community in Greater Cleveland. Membership population is also 100 families, but there are more than 500 families in Cleveland area. We have a website, which is ncgc.us. We meet every third Sunday in one of the rooms at Cleveland State University. We also have our Independence Day celebrations on the first Saturday of October. And we've had some successes. My husband was the president for 4 years, and he started the health fair. We collaborate with Cleveland Clinic, and we hold health fairs every year during the month of May. We have speaking events, and we've given over 40 book scholarships to high school and college students as well. And these are the girls. They are also all American citizens, but we try to also teach them our culture. I wanted to talk a little bit about some notable Nigerian Americans. There's the Bennett Omalu, the forensic pathologist who talked about concussion in footballers. They just made a movie about him. And then there's Christian Okoye, Nigerian Nightmare. He played for Kansas. Does anybody know him? Nigerian. He's my cousin. I can boast of that. And then Amobi Okoye, who plays for the Dallas Cowboys. He's also an in-law. Then Namdia Samoa, the basketball, the Lady Sisters, the Hakeem, Jidena, Uzo, who is in Orange is the New Black, I think. Then Chimamanda and Kimberly. So there are several of them. I just picked some. We're very hardworking, and we try to excel in whatever we do. So my missions and visions. I hope to continue in my career. By God's grace, I will be defending my dissertation tomorrow. I hope to continue in the academia world and to continue my business in the home health care, and save up some money and continue my philanthropy work. And I do volunteer in a couple of places. I volunteer at St. Patrick's. My son goes to school at St. Patrick's School. And I also did volunteer at the Hudson Library for a couple of years when I was studying for my medical license exam, because my husband would drop me off at 9 a.m. and then pick me up at 9 p.m. So when I was studying for my exam, so during the break time, I was sneaking a couple of hours at the circulation department and also volunteer for them. So that's it. Thank you.
Questions? All right, we'll get one question. Mimi, you've got the mic for it. So it's a good one, right?
Now that you are about to become a PhD, you have your pediatrics and the epidemiology. What is your hope for putting that to work? Where do you want to go with that?
I didn't finish the pediatrics, so I am not certified there. But it has kind of directed my research during my PhD. My dissertation is on human papillomavirus. I designed an intervention to educate college students and help them make decisions about getting the HPV vaccine, which I don't know if you know that the United States is currently far below the Healthy People 2020 objectives, and actually far below than other developed countries when it comes to HPV vaccination rate. And it's already been proven that HPV vaccine is safe and effective and can help reduce cancer, and it causes 7 types of cancer and other diseases that it causes, but for some reason people are not getting it. So I designed an intervention to inform them about the disease and how to get access to the vaccines and the importance of the vaccine. And I tested the intervention, and that's what it's on. So I hope to continue in the academia. I love to teach. I love to do research. And I hope some point to be able to go back and complete my residency training so that I can see patients. I also love to have that in my, but right now I'm hoping to continue in the academia track for a while.